Well, good afternoon, everyone. A woo from the front row. Are we nailing this or what? Can I get some feedback? Who enjoyed their morning so far today? Awesome, that feels so good, so good. I love the words of David White imploring us to grapple with our reality in that conversation. And I hope your strategic briefings and your tracks are off to a great start this morning. I am Doug Barton. I'm the director of the UWEBC, and it's my pleasure to lead us off today in about 15 minutes worth of content. And then we'll have an address from Dr. Veeramani and our Chancellor of UW, Jennifer Mnookin. We're excited you're with us. Please continue to eat, nourish yourself, right? We have a long day ahead of learning. And let me get underway. So I want to share a few ideas. At the beginning of our 25th year, the UWEBC is celebrating our 25th year. We challenged ourselves with the goal of recreating a UWEBC that we all love. And a great way of putting this is that we're on a mission together, right? Our UW and you as members of this collaborative, a mission that will help us earn the love and trust of each other and of many. We're also committed to delivering the metrics that give us the resources really to make an impact, the impact that we want to have on our world together. So I wanted to spend a few moments and just talk about that mission to address problems, right, to create new perspectives, and to create a thriving community together. This is a depiction of a problem. That X would be your problem. And one of the things you know about problems is that as soon as you solve your biggest problem, your next biggest problem appears, right? To make progress, we must actually solve harder and harder problems. That's what progress is. To look forward is to look forward to the next problem. The number one source of value identified by our advisory board recently as we started to recreate, right, the value that we deliver to our members was really this idea of enabling peer-validated decisions. But let's illustrate how this goes. You may remember that there was a time not long ago we worried together about safety at work, merely being safe at work. Can you imagine? Can you remember? We knew that was the problem to address in that moment. But that was also part of larger problems. How are we going to be digital? How are we going to be together when we could work from anywhere and had to work from everywhere? And then lastly, what does that do? Does that tear at the fabric of our culture, right? Of the belonging, the if you will, the connection we have with those in our enterprises, right? Successively harder problems. I could continue here. Generative AI is on the horizon. There isn't a speech happening anywhere in the world on a stage like this that doesn't talk about ChatGPT. But you might be confronted with what policy you should have for your workers. Should they access it in their work? Does that pose certain risks? The panel later today might discuss some of these things up here on this stage. I want to encourage you to come back at 4:15 for that. But it also has you think about what is the future of any particular job role or job function? How could that be augmented by a co-pilot that's effectively doing the work that humans used to do merely 12 months ago? And finally, what will that mean about the meaning and purpose that people get out of their work? Things will change. Their jobs will change. They might worry about that. See, these are the successively more difficult problems that we've been tackling together. It's kind of heavy for lunch, isn't it? Just want to take a nap now. But let me share something. So as I was preparing, finalizing my words for this morning, I got a note, I think it was on my social media of all places, about the publishing of this paper. And I think you would pronounce it emu, named after a funky bird. But this is an archive that had announced the results of research. Well, that very same day, Facebook made available the technology based on the research that was published. This is the distance between research and product these days. It's going like this. So, this is something you can try at home. I know you probably have access to one of Meta's products. Facebook was my choice. In Facebook Messenger, you can type in with a chat with @meta@AI. That's how you kind of identify it. You could type in /imagine and give an image description, and their supercomputing cluster will return to you an image. Let me share with you what my chat was. So I turned on my screen record. That's my iPhone on Saturday morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. What better way to waste a few minutes? Let me see if I can get this video to play. So I typed in morning, because I figured you gotta be gentle with the AI in the sky. /imagine. Can you read that? A large group of cartoon badgers sitting around a campfire in a dark wood. It's very verbose, these large language models. Look at that. They wanted details. I said, just sharing stories. This is kind of like what we do together, by the way. We get together and tell stories. It still wants to talk to me. Look at that. What kind of stories do you think they like to share? Are the adventures of the forest brought down through generations? I just said yes. Now, at this point, I am just feeling like, come on. I just wanted a picture. So watch this. I paste in my prompt. I leave off the morning. Count the seconds. This isn't sped up. And there you are. So this isn't university-approved badgers we're looking at here, mind you. I'm not even sure if that's a badger, mind you. I'm so trained to think of Bucky. I said thanks because, you know, who knows? It may work for that AI someday. And indeed, this whole thing wraps up. I sent that image to a few friends. We got a good laugh. Now they're going to be AI aficionados as well. They started texting me prompts, and I had to do it for them. Look, it illustrates a couple of things. You know, one, hopefully you got my point, that there are things happening in the labs with research that end up in products, and we can close that distance and should close that distance. We need to be ready for this digital future. Also, it's easy to learn. I encourage you to try these tools and learn for yourself. This is one example here. Please get engaged. Let's not get blindsided by this. I'm sure I had other points, but I can't remember them right now. And I will put that on my Twitter feed so you too can have a picture of those campfire badgers. But let's talk about the second source of value. Now, imagine if all one could know about a problem or possibility was represented by the circle on the left. And we would also imagine that the circle on the right and that small arc is really the amount of perspective any one person can have. Really, we're really blind oftentimes to our own blindness about the totality of a problem or a possibility. You know, said another way, we don't know what we don't know. Unless, get this, we put ourselves, our team members, our teammates across functional areas in a learning community, which makes it more likely that our blind spots will be revealed to us, right? We can't ask for this advice. I can't ask you. I'm not sure how I meant to say that. Anyway, let's continue. And doing this in a community, frankly, where the stakes are a little lower, right? Where I don't have to reveal what I don't know to my coworkers, very useful as well. You'll not only learn about yourself, you'll learn about what you don't know, kind of what's in my blind spots, and it can be very beneficial. Look, the impact that I'm most proud of, and this is a kind of a depiction, is the strength of those connections. You know, it's in those connections that you might find lifelong professional relationships that will sustain a life and a livelihood well lived for you. And even the weaker ties are highly valuable to help you meet that future more ready and confident. So let me put this in context. You know, one of the things that we imagine is that the compelling way to think about what the UWEBC provides in our Learning Collaborative is it's making a contribution to your organizational capability development. It's keeping, right, the knife sharp, it's the axe sharp, as it were. You know, the industries that you work in will continue to face, you know, a lot of variability, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. The VUCA world, you will continue to have emergent technologies that are going to pose problems, as we talked about it, and you're going to want perspective. We're best known for what we call the peer learning forums that we produce each year. But I also want to say that it's those individual one-on-one connections that we help foster and help make that ultimately have huge impacts as well. The value, you know, to that peer learning community really connects best when you have a clear view of what your learning roadmap is, the competencies, the capabilities, right? The capacities you need to build. And finally, you know, together we can also meet needs for professional development. What are the areas you need fluency or mastery? And we seek to kind of support your own learning journey as you adapt to the future that we see. So quick reflection on last year, and I'll hit this at a high speed so we can stay on schedule. Look, we came together in more than 70 learning forums this last year. We entertain about 3,000 of our member contacts in these events, 3,000 participants. Proud that we continue to have virtual and hybrid offerings so we can gather together, but we also permit access from just about anywhere you are, both in time, right, in place as well. And we think these are some kind of amazing results. And again, the member connections that we facilitate is much more than a footnote on a slide, and yet here it is, a footnote on a slide, literally. As we look forward, we're excited to continue our commitment to these communities of practice, these 5 areas of communities where we gather in peer groups and special interest groups. We're also focusing on supporting those cross-functional domains and demands. You know, one thing that is true is that our work in companies is more multidisciplinary than ever, and we got to work on blending and harmonizing the way we address these. And I've called out a few that have been popular in recent memory in our work. Agile, which started as an IT trend, is now in every department, every function of organizations. Data and analytics, right? There isn't a process, a function, or a product or service offering that's not touched by the world of intelligence and the way we can put data to work to make better decisions or more compelling products, honestly. But what's new there is leadership, change, and activation. And you know, we have treated this topic with great care in each of our practice areas. We think there's also something about leading organizational change across the company as well. And this will just make our work together easier to find, right? So you can imagine we'll be programming a year for 2024 that will have organization that looks like this. It's a gentle remodel, right? But we think it's important for you to connect with our work in a way that it reflects your ambitions. Yeah. Okay, moving on. We were very proud of our second ever Wisconsin Digital Symposium. We entertained more than 200 companies and 540 attendees in a half-day session. Really proud of the important contribution from our member companies. GE Healthcare, Sub-Zero, Jewelers Mutual contributing their stories of managing their digital future. We also had thought leaders from afar, but also close to home. Our Data Science Institute participated, our College of Engineering, our Computer Data and Information Sciences School, and our Business School. A terrific cross-campus effort to demonstrate and illuminate really what's available in our digital future. Also really thrilled that we got to ride along with our Wisconsin Foundation and Alumni Association. A couple of road trips to member companies, Kohler, I've showed it out there. Of course, Harley-Davidson there on the right, and also something that we did also at Greenheck Group up in Schofield near Wausau. There's going to be more of this in our future. We're going to celebrate our demi-semi-sepcentennial. Yes, I did practice a couple of times, and next year, and we hope to come to your neighborhood. If you'd like to hear from us or be with us, please get in touch. Oh, last year I stood on this stage and talked about curricular offerings for hot and emergent topics. We talked about digital product management, robotic process automation, experience management, just to name a few. And we did that this last year. We entertained more than 50 member companies in these events, and the scores kind of speak for themselves. 4.8 on a 5 scale. These were very well reviewed, and I was just hearing from Ann at UW Credit Union. Can I share?
Yes, please.
Yeah, the best program ever. I might have modified that a little bit, but it's all true. Yeah, and we're excited to continue that for this next year and also to expand access. We're going to do some of these online as well. We have highly skilled instructors in these areas that we want to repeat, and they are committed. They've already developed we'll call it the pedagogy or approaches to teach this virtually as well. So that'll be a part of our program, an attempt to expand access and get more people access to this work. And look, that's not the end of it. You know, membership in the UWEBC also earns you special offers and discounts from many of our campus partners. Those are some very compelling programs. You know, CIO digital leadership, the CMO leadership, the technical leadership. We have a wide array of things to help you meet the future more ready as well. And I'm almost done. New in 2024, though, let me tell you about something new. We're going to develop a set of tools and approaches to engage more deeply in your own reflections on what you need to develop in your capability roadmap. You know, we don't know your mission, your purpose, your vision, your values. You guys know that, but we can have a hand in helping you, kind of coming alongside of you in the strategy and roadmap and role maps and the competencies you need to build, and we'll help you meet the future ready for that next level of performance together. And this is my last slide. So 3 simple, we've covered them all, 3 simple but very powerful commitments to the future, right, to our future together. I hope you'll let us know what you think, certainly, and also what you need. We would love to hear from you. And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce a good friend, Jim. It says a good friend, an award-winning client services expert, a passionate builder of transformational change and positive, slow down, I got more, and a positive corporate culture, chair of the UWEBC Advisory Board. That's Jim LeMere. Jim? Thanks, man.
Can you stay up here for a second?
Yeah.
You had to put that in the notes?
I did.
Wow. Before I say a few words about the advisory board, I just wanted to thank you for a couple of very specific things. One, your continued inspirational thought leadership in running this program. Very impressive, your energy and your creativity. Second, your mentorship of me as we continue on this journey together. I appreciate your leadership. Well, at its heart, the consortium provides several key benefits. It's a partnership of industry-leading companies that comes together, over 80 of us in membership now across a plethora of industries. And we come together fostering collaboration and learning across multiple organizational levels and functions. And we do this specifically to advance our industry and solve real-world problems. That is the power of the consortium. Now, as the chair of the advisory board, I get the added benefit of working with all of our board members in helping evolve and sustain the consortium over time in line with the desires of our members and also the needs of the marketplace. The board does this through continued consultation, collaboration, special task forces that are designed to provide continued positive change to the consortium for years to come. And we're very proud as a board of the value that we know you derive from the consortium, as evidenced by the fact that 70% of our members have been with the consortium for 15 years or more. A round of applause for that. Now, personally, I've derived a lot of value from the consortium over the 15 years that I've been a member. I'd like to take just a minute to share with you my story, and I'm going to do so from 3 different perspectives. One is self-development, one would be team development, and the last would be advancing our industry. From a self-development perspective, I've met so many people through peer group sessions, through executive retreats, that have had the same problems that I've had to solve. And they bring with them perspective from experimentation, from successes, from failures, as they implement solutions across people, process, and tech. At the same time, I've been able to bring my experiences back to the consortium and help others find solutions to their problems much the same way that they've helped me. And finally, the consortium has really helped me build and maintain my professional network, groups like this, and also keep abreast of what's happening in the industry. The consortium also provides a great venue for developing teams, and through multiple levels within the organizations that I've been a part of. Through, special interest groups, through peer group sessions, through targeted learning opportunities like member-to-member connections. The consortium has helped analysts, supervisors, managers, directors, and more to help build their professional networks in order to take control of problem solving and best practice application within their teams. This is driving next level talent and also improving overall effectiveness and performance of the organizations that we run. And the consortium does that. Lastly, the consortium, I appreciate so much that it provides a venue for me to give back through things like the advisory board and through member-to-member connections. The ability for me to consult with and advise other members and help them advance in their industry and our industry as a whole has been so fulfilling for me, as has been my role as advisory chair in helping evolve the consortium over time. So if you're a returning member, I hope you share my sentiments, and I hope you take the time to share your story with others to help continue to grow our membership. If you're a new member, welcome to the family, and I hope that you take advantage of the consortium and all that it has to give you, including several experiential learning options that I didn't mention that Doug hinted at. There's so much that we could talk about. And if you're a prospective member, take advantage of this venue, the conference, to network with people that are part of the consortium and can tell you about the value that they've derived within their organization, across their organization. And I look forward to welcoming you to the family sometime soon. So with that, I'd like to introduce, that was a long-winded way to introduce, our executive director, our founder, an inspirational leader that I admire, and a man that I like to call friend, Dr. Veeramani.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome all of you to UWEBC's annual conference and our 25th anniversary celebration. My brother, Doug Barton, he spoke earlier about the many ways in which we are evolving the UWEBC to be of continued service to your companies into the future. Now, I would like to take us down on a trip down memory lane and share how the UWEBC was born 25 years ago. The UWEBC began as a seed of an idea in the summer of 1998. At the time, the World Wide Web and e-commerce was still in its infancy, but was generating a tremendous amount of curiosity and interest in all industries. I began pondering the question, how can UW-Madison best help industry succeed with e-commerce? To find the answer, I then did something which in retrospect is perhaps the smartest thing that I could have done. Namely, I invited a group of executives to campus and I posed that question to them. I distinctly remember that day in the summer of 1998. In the room were visionary leaders such as Bill Linton, founder and CEO of Promega, Bern Chapman, then CIO of American Family Insurance, and executives from CUNA Mutual, Lands' End, Rayovac, Rockwell Automation, Sargento Foods, Springs Window Fashion, TDS Telecom, and many others. Even though the executives represented a diverse group of successful brick-and-mortar companies from various industries, they came to the insightful consensus that e-commerce would have a profound and disruptive influence on not just their own companies, but on the global economy as a whole. They concluded that it would be very valuable if the university created a trusted, non-commercial, and collaborative environment for companies to learn and share experiences regarding emerging digital technologies, best practices, and next-generation ideas. This key insight led to the genesis of the UWE Business Consortium, with the mission of serving as a collaborative learning community to help industry gain competitive advantage by tapping into the collective wisdom and business experience of consortium members and the intellectual capital of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Since its founding in 1998, UWEBC's unique university-industry partnership has consistently served its mission while continually evolving our offerings to meet the changing needs of our members. In the early years, UWEBC focused on organizing multiple conferences like this one each year for creating awareness and understanding of the possibilities and promise of e-commerce. As companies came to realize that e-commerce was not just for online startups and certainly not a fad, their interest shifted from merely learning about e-commerce strategies to understanding how to successfully implement those strategies. With this transition, UWEBC introduced in 2002 its hallmark peer groups that provide a highly effective and trusted forum for peer-to-peer learning of actionable ideas and validated experiences. As our members expanded their efforts from e-commerce to e-business and digitizing every facet of business, the UWEBC correspondingly expanded its offerings into multiple practice areas, including marketing, IT, supply chain management, customer relationship management, and human resources. Today, the UWEBC is more active than ever before, engaging executives and senior managers from leading companies in more than 60 learning events each year. UWEBC's peer groups, research and advisory services, and other unique offerings are catalyzing business innovation through thought leadership and cross-pollination of novel ideas and helping member companies reach the next frontier of operational excellence and business transformation. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how the UWEBC came to be. I'd like to take a couple of moments now to recognize five key partners in this success, and I'd like to request you to hold your applause till I've gone through all five. The first group that I would like to recognize is the UWEBC's advisory board. The UWEBC's advisory board has been truly instrumental in the consortium's success over the last 25 years. This has been a trusted group of mentors for me and my team that has helped us anticipate the emerging needs of our members so that we can be proactive in developing our offerings and be there when our members needed us. And this continues to this year under Jim's leadership. So the advisory board, again, has been a tremendous factor in our continued success. And of course, the consortium is nothing without all of our member companies. So we have blessed with 80 member companies from diverse industries from all across the state. And I also want to recognize our sponsors for today's conference. This is our signature event of the year, and we look forward to every year, and we spend an entire year planning it. But, special thanks to our sponsors today for making this possible. And finally, I want to recognize the UWEBC's core team. So this begins with Doug Barton. He's the director of the consortium. I also want to recognize Heidi Rosmerick. She leads our IT practice area. Jenny Pasloff, she leads our supply chain management practice area. Roger Paulson, who's been with the consortium now for 17 of our 25 years. He's currently leading our marketing practice areas and also overseeing the practice area development. I'll skip me. Pema Bhutia, who's responsible for all the events and the logistics that you're seeing here. Taryn Johnson, who's managing all of our marketing and communications, and Beth De Garcia, who in many ways has been my right hand over the past nearly 17 years as our Director of Member Relations. And then finally, the fifth group, I actually do not have a slide for it because the slide isn't big enough. And this fifth group is, in fact, our secret sauce. And this is something that none of your organizations have. And this is the amazing group of students that have been part of the consortium over the last 25 years. We have had nearly more than 125 students involved in the consortium. And the fact that I don't here have a slide for them is also representative of the fact that they have been behind the scenes and powering our success over the last 25 years. I reached out to many of them, and many of them are old enough now that they're bringing their kids to campus. And so it's been just remarkable seeing them grow and blossom in their professional careers. So please join me in thanking all the 5 groups for the consortium success. Finally, it is now my privilege to introduce you to our Chancellor, Chancellor Jennifer Mnookin. Chancellor Mnookin is the 30th leader in the university's 175-year history. She has spent her academic career at top public universities. Prior to leading UW-Madison, she was Dean of the UCLA School of Law, where she helped to strengthen the school's academic excellence, increase both the diversity and the academic strength of the student body, and build new programs in areas ranging from law and technology to human rights. Chancellor Mnookin is one of the nation's most cited legal scholars in the area of evidence law and has served on several national committees examining the use of forensic science in court. So she knows a thing or two about CSI. She also has served on the faculty at the University of Virginia and Harvard. She holds degrees from Harvard, Yale, and MIT. At UW-Madison, Chancellor Mnookin is known for her energy and passion and for pushing boundaries to bring the university to new levels of excellence. She's leading initiatives to expand the faculty in strategic areas and to help students of all backgrounds and perspectives learn to engage across difference, an essential part of a high-quality university education. She is also committed to fostering a culture of entrepreneurship and creativity among faculty, staff, and students, and to strengthening UW-Madison's commitment to innovation for the public good, the Wisconsin idea. Please join me in welcoming Chancellor Jennifer Mnookin.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction, and good afternoon, everyone. All right, we're going to do that one more time with feeling. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Excellent. That was terrific. It's wonderful to see you here in person, and a warm hello to those of you online as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Veeramani, not only for the introduction, but much more importantly, for your visionary leadership of the UWE Business Consortium over these 25 years, and for sharing the story of how it grew from a little shoot in the ground to something that's blossomed in such wonderful ways. Happy anniversary to UWEBC. To build collaborations that are strong and enduring and bring such value both to the university and to so many partners across the state is a hard thing to do well. It's something that we need to work on every day, and it's a priority of mine. And to see this success story in action is quite exciting. I've been here for about 13 months, and so this is my first time at this event, and it's really wonderful to see all of the ways that this partnership in community is truly flourishing. I can see exactly why 5 different governors have issued special proclamations in your honor. And so to all of you who've played a role in the success of this ability to engage across and with each other in ways that produce value for you personally as well as institutionally, thank you. Why don't you give yourselves a round of applause? Now, most of you know Raj as the founder and executive director of UWEBC. Some of you probably also know him as an exceptional researcher and as an award-winning teacher in both our College of Engineering and our School of Business. But I don't know how many of you know something that I recently learned, which is that he is not only a great problem solver, working at the intersection of the many disciplines represented here today, but he's also a great cook. And that's a skill that he learned growing up in the hotel that his family owned and lived in Kolkata, India. In the afternoons after school, while his friends might have been out playing, he was in the hotel restaurant watching the chefs at work. And it strikes me that it might not be far-fetched to say that you could draw a straight line from the young boy absorbing the many lessons of a busy kitchen at dinner time to this outstanding scholar who observes and learns and then connects people and technologies to solve problems. Now, of course, you don't build something this big alone. And so I want to echo the thanks to many of those who Raj mentioned. The members of the advisory board who keep the consortium growing to meet changing needs and make sure that it's focused on the right kinds of issues for its members. And I want to thank the 80-plus member companies, our partners in innovation. So now let's give all of them a really big round of applause, bigger than you gave yourselves. I'd also like to say just a word about the strategic collaboration between UWEBC and the Wisconsin Manufacturing Extension Partnership. This is a metaphoric four-lane highway that brings university expertise to Wisconsin's manufacturing industry, and it's funded with a federal grant from the U.S. Department of Commerce. Over the past 5 years, part of that during a global pandemic, it's yielded more than $75 million of financial impact through UWEBC's projects and services to manufacturers all over the state. That wouldn't happen without strong leadership. And so I'd also like to thank Chris Speichu, WMEP's CEO and Executive Director. Are you here somewhere, Chris? Yes. So thank you and congratulations. Now I have a few thoughts to share with you today, but I'd like to know a little bit more about who's in the room. So how many of you are located right here in Madison or Dane County? Raise your hands. All right, so big chunk of you, looks like probably roughly half, maybe a little more than that. How many of you are from elsewhere in Wisconsin? Okay, about an equal-sized group, maybe even a little bigger. How about from not from Wisconsin at all? All right, a minority, but thank you for recognizing the value of what we're doing right here, right now. Let's see your hand if you're new to the consortium in the past 3 years. Okay, looks like about maybe 15% of you. How about those of you who've been members for more than a decade? Okay, how about founding member companies represented here today? Raise your hand if you're part of that. All right, a decent number there too. Those include American Family, CUNA Mutual, Now Trustage, Colony Brands, Land's End, Rockwell Automation, Sargento Foods, and many more. I want to say thank you to both those who've been with this project from the beginning and have helped to shape it in such profound ways, and to those of you who are new in the room, because it's precisely that blend of long-term commitment, loyalty, and the stick-to-itiveness that recognizes value and keeps making it better, and the fresh ideas and perspectives that can join that really, I think, can be the special sauce that makes this work. So whether you're a brand new member or a consortium veteran, you're part of a pretty important ecosystem here that is also, I think, very UW. To create a trusted forum where industry leaders can be comfortable sharing knowledge and learning from one another, to create learning communities in the business space, isn't the easiest thing to do. It's even something of a tall order. It takes the right people, but it takes more than that. It also takes some common ground and an institution who can help shape it, whose excellence is itself rooted in and grows from a commitment to what I like to call innovation for the public good. The idea that we're trying to make change for the better, and we're doing it for ourselves, but also for reasons bigger than ourselves. At UW-Madison, I think that's really a core conception of what this flagship university is aiming to do and aiming to be. It's woven into our DNA. We sometimes talk about it as the Wisconsin idea, the idea that we want to be in partnership and community to do things, to make a difference in ways that go so far beyond our campus and have impact all across the state and even beyond. And that conception has helped to build UW-Madison into one of our nation's greatest universities. Now, I gotta say, I'm curious how many of you have other connections to us. How many of you in this room are alums? Raise your hand. All right, go Badgers. How many of you are parents or maybe even grandparents of current students or alums? Okay, not as many, although a couple of you in line mentioned to me that it wasn't going to be too long until your kids were applying. So it's good to see those hands going up. Anyone in the room working on a degree at UW-Madison right now? Okay, a couple of hands back there. That's great. And how about if you've hired one or more of our outstanding graduates? All right, that should be almost all of you, I think. And of course, you're all connected to us through the consortium. Look, whether you know us well or whether you're just getting to know us, we're a large campus. In fact, we just hit the 50,000 student mark. We're so big we've even got our own zip code. But we also know that we always have more to learn. I thought I'd share with you today just a few recent events and happenings across campus and news items. First of all, a little bit about our current class. For students, this was probably the most competitive year in our history. Those of you who have freshmen can be pretty proud of this. We selected 8,000 new freshmen from a record-breaking 68,000 applicants. Now, this class includes our second highest number ever of Wisconsin resident students in our entire history. And so we are serving the state, even as the numbers of high school graduates in Wisconsin have begun to go down a little bit. We have the second highest number of Wisconsin students as freshmen that we've ever had. We also do have the most racially diverse class in our history. And I think we can be proud of serving Wisconsin and also being an opportunity for first-generation students and other underrepresented students in a variety of ways. You might know that UW-Madison is one of the top 10 research universities in the country. That's been true for a long time. This past year, we brought in a record-breaking number of federal grant dollars. And that means exciting opportunities for new and expanded work in areas ranging from alternative energies to pathobiological sciences to AI and machine learning, as we just heard about a few minutes ago. And in fact, I've got to share with you, since we got to see that little Badgers having a fireside chat in its moment of creation. We're having an event this fall where it's actually going to be about mad prompts. It's going to be who can do the best prompts with AI to develop the most impactful images. And students, faculty, and staff are going to compete with each other in a contest that literally couldn't have existed even just a year or two ago. So, this is another example of just how much is changing. Now, I'll also mention, if you've tried to drive anywhere on campus lately, you might have noticed that this was a summer with a lot of campus construction. And one of the projects is the long-awaited new home for the School of Computer, Data, and Information Sciences. I know this is one area that many of you are excited about, and rightly so. And it's going to help us accommodate enormous growth. Computer science is now our #1 major on campus. And actually, data science is now our fastest growing major. We're also unusual because many schools, many big public flagships like us, limit the number of computer science majors. You have to apply and get in as a CS major, and those courses are very restricted. And we have thus far been able to not do that. We've been able to open our computer science major to everybody who wants to pursue it. I mean, they've got to, pass the prereqs and things like that, but everybody who wants to do this major can. And so we're very excited about a new home for our Data Science Institute, and that will help position us as a national leader in areas like AI and machine learning, which are likely to touch your industries in all of us are going to be touched by it. Some of us may be in areas that are going to be meaningfully changed or disrupted by us. And so being ready for that and thinking about what to do about that and not be surprised is something that we have to worry about on campus, just as you have to worry about in your companies. And it's exactly the kind of issue that we can probably get better purchase on if we think about it together. This building will also provide some nice new spaces to collaborate with all of you, and we'll have a major celebration when it's done, spring of 2025, assuming the construction gods smile on us, and I hope to see many of you there. Now, I've only wrapped up my first year here. I've only been here 14 months so far, but I've gotten already the chance to know so many amazing people on campus and also throughout the state. I've had the chance to begin to know this great state of Wisconsin, from cranberry marshes in Black River Falls to a ginseng farm in Wausau, to major dairy operations and breweries, to high-tech manufacturers in La Crosse and Racine. I've seen the extraordinary statewide impact of UW-Madison, including the impact of this consortium. And I'm still getting to know Wisconsin, but I've come to love this state, and I think it's a truly special place. I've also come to see that this is a place with challenges, including a workforce shortage that may get worse before it gets better, and a number of economic sectors that continue to need support to fully recover from the pandemic. Now, there are government programs that help with some of these issues. There's private sector and nonprofit groups that help with others. But I do believe that UW-Madison stands as a special institution in this state that can make a difference and help for the challenges that lie ahead. We are at the scale, we have the size and scope and intellectual firepower to attract thousands of talented young people into the state and to help our industries solve problems so they can grow and thrive. We are stronger when we work together. We have the ability to solve problems when we take them on in partnership, when we do it in community, and when we work together for the common good. And so things like the e-business consortium, which model doing exactly that, need our collective support, and they need to be a model for how we think even more broadly. And so I'm going to leave you with two requests. The first is this. You already heard we're celebrating our 175th birthday this year. We started together with the state, just months after the state was brought into existence. So was UW-Madison. And when I think about the future of this great state and what we can do to make sure that the next 175 years are just as strong, I think it does begin with recognizing this celebration and a shared opportunity to build ahead. We'd love you to be part of that. We've already visited some companies and some parts of the state, and we've got lots of other trips planned. We'll be in Appleton, Beloit, Eau Claire, and lots of other spots across the state all the way through next summer. And if you'd like to join us, let us know. There's a booth upstairs, too. Check it out. Talk to Mike there. He can fill us in on our plans. But we'd love to find ways to celebrate us and you together. My second ask is this. I mentioned our computer science building. And that's gone up entirely with private funding, with gift and grant funds. We also really need a new building for our College of Engineering to keep doing the research that we're doing, to keep the collaborations that we need, and also to expand the number of students we can educate. We're currently graduating only about half as many engineers as Michigan, Illinois, or Ohio State, to name just a few. And that's not right. We're also losing Wisconsin kids to some of these other schools who leave for college because we don't have enough spots for them in our engineering school. And once they're gone, there's less chance that they come back to our state and build their futures here. So if you do hire engineers at work or work with our engineering faculty, I hope you'll consider sharing your support for this building to be able to go forward. Do that with your peers, call your legislators. Let people know if you think that this building's a good idea. It was the #1 request of the entire UW system for their capital budget. But we haven't yet gotten it approved. But we still do have an opportunity to revive it in a separate bill this fall. We're asking the state to fund about half of the building. The rest of it we're doing with private philanthropy. We've already raised more than $100 million in commitments. But those dollars aren't going to wait around if we can't get state approval to proceed. And so that building really is critical, both for us at UW-Madison, but also even more importantly, for our ability to work successfully in partnership to meet the needs of the state. Thanks to many of you who've already been strong advocates in this process. And thank you for your partnership that enriches what we do and allows us to envision truly exciting possibilities for our future. We are stronger when we work together. That's true for your companies. Some of you guys even compete against each other in some settings, and yet you also know that peer learning communities and the opportunities to validate your ideas in other spaces and to learn together can make you stronger and your company. The same is true for UW-Madison. When we work with you effectively, it strengthens you and it strengthens the university as well. And so that's what we need to continue to do. That's what I know you will be partners in doing together with us. And I am so proud and pleased to be able to help lead this university and to be a part of that. So thank you for this opportunity today, and thank you for everything that you do. And we've got now an exciting finish here. I'm told that we've got 5 special guests from our much-loved UW Marching Band to lead you into your next event. So thank you all very, very much, and let's cue the tubas.
To the reception. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our program. You can follow these good bandmates up to the Grand Terrace where you can meet with sponsors and also enjoy some of that UW 175 celebration. Do visit the booth, learn about plans for next summer. But one more time, could you give a round of applause to these great students and speakers? Thanks.